Is that okay?
Well, I could just say money, access to the media. There's a number of reasons that we run into the partisan barrier.
You also got to remember, it's one thing to run for city council. It's a whole different thing to run a statewide race or an assembly race, because that's where more money is involved. And so to say that the reason why the Green Party won't have a chance at a statewide candidate, and eventually will lose their presidential candidate, as Richard will explain, is because they can't compete at the statewide level. And for all those who want to say, or the Republicans or the Democrats may not care about, look, the Republicans were a third party at one time. Abraham Lincoln doesn't bolt the Republicans under Prop 2 because he never would have made it any farther than he did. And it forces people into the two parties. So in one regard, it's cutting down choice. But you can't say that because a Green is successful in a small town, that somehow that same dynamic translates successfully to an expensive assembly race. It's just, it is not a math, it is exponentially more difficult and takes exponentially more money and makes it more difficult to do that.
We have an actual experiment. We had the blanket primary in 1998 and 2000. Tom Tryon is the longest serving county supervisor in Calaveras County history. He was elected in 1984. He's always been a registered libertarian. Everybody in Calaveras County knows he's a registered libertarian. They really like him. But when he ran for partisan office in the blanket primary, which people would say, oh, that's good, that'll give him a chance. Even in Calaveras County, he ran twice in the blanket primary years. Once for state senate, he came in third in the blanket primary, and then he ran for, I think it was controller in 1998. Again, even in his home county, he came in third. The evidence shows that even people who are popular, known, loved, cannot succeed in the system because these partisan offices are they're partisan bodies. And the voters think, I may like Tom, but I really care about whether the Democrats or Republicans control the state, so it doesn't work.
The American Independent Party has an entirely different view. We feel that there is no reason whatsoever for there to be a distinction between partisan and nonpartisan races. What we need is truth in labeling. There should be a right of any candidate to truthfully claim the endorsement of any free political association.
Well, let's face it, the districts are gerrymandered to be either a Democratic Party district or a Republican Party district in 93% of the districts in the whole country. With that gerrymander, we've created one-party safe districts. So you either have to be a Democrat or Republican. Now, I've run for several union offices and been elected many times. Without a party label, you can tell people you're Peace and Freedom Party, but those people that, thousands of people that are voting, you can't say all thousands of those know I'm Peace and Freedom Party. You just know that you won, and you're Peace and Freedom Party. When you have the label on the ballot, people know instinctively who that district is for. And a third-party candidate in this gerrymandered area, using the single-member district where a plurality can win, third parties aren't going to make it. We have to change the election to make them really fair. And this Prop 14 does not do that.
Okay, any more questions?
We seem to keep dancing around the money issue, although we've addressed it primarily in that there is a lot of money behind this. Why is there a lot of money behind this? Why are large corporations, insurance industries backing this? What is their motivation?
Would you like to? Well, can I answer it first then?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, honest opinion, the reason why those corporations and whatnot are behind it is what I've seen, speaking in front of the Santa Clara Chamber of Commerce. They actually spoke out against Proposition 14. They opposed it. And you had an individual from Silicon Valley who represented different groups, from Hewlett-Packard to Google, just a real diverse, to the health insurance, CAHU, I believe it's called, California. If you look in one of their editorials last September, the reason why they've given over $500,000, it states specifically in their article, is that they want to help the moderate candidates and, what is it, get rid of anti-single payer legislatures.
No,
pro, that is. So that's really the rationale behind it. The proponents such as Maldonado, as I specifically said before, The Latino vote, if top two passes, it strengthens his ability to get reelected. It's a selfish endeavor. And then you have Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've learned a lot about committees setting one up. This is all new to me, but where does this money go afterwards? So it puts more money in their war chest. It's more greed. It's him trying to be Mr. Reformer when in fact it's a bit too late for Arnold to even think that that would even be a possibility. But those are some of the components as to why corporations, health insurance are behind this. And you do see a lot of the public sector uniting with the private sector, and that is very unusual and odd, and something that I hope a lot of you do some research on as well. So, please.
The reason why money plays such a great role in politics is astoundingly simple. The districts are much too large. When our country began, immediately after its Constitution was approved, there were 12 amendments proposed to the states, not the 10 that were actually approved at the time. The first one limited to a very small size, the size of a congressional district. That's the only way you can know your representative. That's the only way it doesn't take an arm and a leg's worth of money, or else we have to give into state funding and state control. And with state funding comes state control, and we're adamantly opposed to that.
Do you have any other questions from reporters? Okay, so I think we are done. Thank you very much. Again, stoptop2.org, and thank you for your time. Thank you.